sports interaction. Canada Sportsbook.
Yo, 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 yo. What is up? What is up? What is up? Welcome back to Game Over Edmonton. It's your boy, the one, the only, Avry Lewis McDougall here. And hey, there was so much good feedback in terms of when he came on the first time. People loved him. The children loved him. The animals loved him. So we brought him back for part 2. It is the one, the only, Mike Wilson, MYQ Wilson on Twitter. Sorry, it's Kid Atlantis on Twitter. Mike, what are you
Kid
doing?
Atlantis.
It's Kid Atlantis.
Avery just doxed me real time.
Wow,
I'm going to jail.
I said your Twitter name, not your address, buddy.
Yeah. Mike Fail couldn't make it, so you had to call up Mike Success.
Wah. You're really into your dad joke bag today, aren't you, Mike?
I guess.
Wow. So, well, I brought you back on here. It's good to have you back on here again on Game
Thanks
Over
for having
Edmonton. Of course, as the Edmonton Oilers.
Oilers 2-0 when I'm on the show.
That is true. That is true. You are one of the few undefeated guests on all Game Over platforms. So you have probably a 1,000 percentage as you drink from a Game Over mug, which I gave you for Christmas.
Yes. Mike Dangle probably represented.
The man called himself Mike Dangle. My goodness. Anyway, brought you back on.
Mike Wilson, a.k.a. Kid Atlantis, a.k.a. Mike Success, a.k.a. Mike Dangle. Here with you again.
Yes.
Talking Oilers. Talking Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Another stellar game.
Yes, the Edmonton Oilers won tonight over the Seattle Kraken. 7-2, and right there, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I am so happy to see him have another big game. 4 points tonight, and this is the year. I talked to Nuge a couple of days ago, and you know what? He's the kind of guy. He has said, he told me, it's all coming together. He's enjoying his success, and right now, Mike, he's on pace for over 85 point. He's on an 85-point pace right now. I'm sorry, a 90-point pace, which would be his first time cracking that mark as an NHL player, and it's good to see him having success that's been sustained all year long, Mike.
It's much needed. The Oilers are a very funny team. In how much they're driven by their big guns. There was a graphic that Bruce McCurdy tweeted today, and it was a list of all of the forwards for the Kraken and the Oilers listed by how many points they have. And the top 4 are Oilers by a mile. Obviously, McDavid now has 72 points. Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins, who is top 10 in league scoring. Zach Hyman, he's in on everything. He had a subtle 3 points tonight, 2 goals and an assist. And then after that, it is 12 straight Kraken players. Like their fourth liner, their worst fourth liner is scoring above, the 5th best player on the Oilers. So they're really top heavy, and without a guy like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins having a career year, they're even more starved for offenses aside from McDavid and Draisaitl. So it's huge for the Oilers that this is happening.
No, of course it is massive to see that. You mentioned McDavid right there. He's now at 72 points, and seeing him get to that mark before 40 games played is ridiculous. That was funny. They showed that stat on Sportsnet of how he's 4th all time, and the fastest guy to get to reach that mark in the past 30 years has been Mario Lemieux, who did it in 25 games, which that's not human.
Stupid.
70 points in 25 games Mario Lemieux got in his first full year return from cancer. That was bonkers stuff. But you're right, Mike. The Oilers for a while, we know they've been a very top-heavy team, which is why it was great to see also too Clean Costin comes up with a 2-goal night tonight. You know what? He was someone which, when he was dealt to Edmonton from St. Louis, some people wondered that was a smart trade. Some people were wondering if he was going to really provide anything. And you know what? Small sample size, yes, but I've liked what Costin has given the team so far in terms of depth scoring, Mike.
He's gone back and forth, but you know what? I'm not gonna give horse in the mouth when you get I say mouse mouth when you get depth scoring from guys like Klim Kostin. He hasn't been on the right side of the possession game as much as you would want to, but that's something the Oilers are looking for pretty much everyone, even the big guys. Draisaitl, he's missing time. The speculation is that he's still not healthy from the high ankle sprain he suffered last year in the playoffs. his possession numbers by himself have been terrible all year, which I think was the big motivation of putting him up with McDavid in the first place when they had that initial run a few weeks ago. So it's always good to get, contributions from those players. You want to get more. You would have loved to see maybe that McLeod, Fogle, Yamamoto line, which I thought was really doing really well for the Oilers. I'd like to see them get maybe a bit more ice time, have the opportunity for them to contribute a bit more. Obviously, those guys are all pretty low on the scoring list right now, and you expect them to be a bit higher.
No, of course, I couldn't agree more. But even Ryan McLeod, those guys, McLeod 14-39 tonight, Hamlin tonight 10-33, and then of course, where's the stat here? Oh, 1 second, Dylan Holloway, 12-42. And I'm a guy. I'm a guy who believes, what, in this game, Mike, fighting is going away. You know what? It's gonna fade. It's gonna fade itself out. But seeing Dylan Holloway stand up for himself, first career fight, he did get dropped. But I didn't mind seeing Holloway get a little bit physical there and get into his first fight. I didn't mind seeing Holloway not being pushed around by Vince Dunn in that sequence there for his first career fight, Mike.
No, there's a lot of smoke around Edmonton about the toughness of players and maybe they did take it to heart after I think it was a knee. It was a knee on knee collision from Mackenzie Weegar onto Connor McDavid. A lot of people, looking for blood, looking for retribution.
Mm-hmm.
I think in that game, obviously that wasn't that wouldn't be very smart to do. I think the Oilers did the right thing by not retaliating. You don't know how the refs are going to handle that penalty.
Yes.
You're clinging on to a 1-goal lead in a game you are being dominated. And I really do want to put out there that a lot of people are saying, well, good result by the Oilers to get a win. And, they got a win. A really important win against, the last game you're going to play against the Calgary Flames, a team you're fighting for a playoff spot against. But it was maybe one of their worst games of the year. They went and started the first period with a 33% Corsi. Thought, you know what, we're trying too hard. 22% in the second, and down to 11 in the third. Stuart Skinner absolutely stole that one from them. Absolutely. So I think if you're going to reflect on that game, I don't think toughness is the thing. You need guys who can play. So it is nice when you look at guys who you think can play. You see Klim Kostin throws the body, but Jesse Puljujarvi was physical all night and
he scored tonight as well.
And he scored tonight. But Dylan Holloway is a guy that I think the Oilers really need to develop within the next couple of years if they are gonna want to be contenders. I think that's an important player for them. So it's more heartening for me to see those kind of players step up, be physical, show toughness, show some team resolve, than having people ask if they're gonna get some plug fourth liner to play 3 minutes a night who can throw a punch. Like, that's not what's going to be do it. You got to be able to do it as a team. Obviously, Evander Kane is a guy they're missing who can do that, but I'd rather see Jesse Puljujarvi and Klim Kostin, big guys.
Yeah.
Just Dylan Holloway hold their own, and kind of answer the bell that way.
No, exactly. I totally agree with that. I agree with having guys, like you said right there, my guys who can play physical and can contribute offensively, either on the third or second line, as Mike showed once again the game on Edmonton mug, as opposed to, remember, what was it, last month we saw the rumblings of trading for Ryan Reeves, which Ryan Reeves, like
he can't skate on the. It's so funny. It's so funny because I was telling you, I was on my way to work and I was listening to Bob Stauffer, who I don't normally listen to, but he was talking to John Shannon, who's not a progressive, analytic looking hockey analyst. He's more of an old school guy. Both of them. And even Bob says to him, "Was like, well, what do you think about the chances of Ryan Reeves coming to Edmonton?" He's like, well, if he can't skate on the New York Rangers, what makes you think he'll be able to skate on the Edmonton Oilers? And I'm like, wow, you're getting that answer from John Shannon. Like, you're fishing, like you're no one's taking your bait there, Bob. So those, I mean, Minnesota went out and made the play for him. I guess, any team but the Oilers, when you're cheering for him, is a good outcome there, because Ryan Reeves is just not an NHL player at this point in his career.
No, I totally agree. You know what? If it was Ryan Reeves 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would listen. But Ryan Reeves now, it's like, exactly, Ryan Reeves will play.
Ryan Reeves, who the Pittsburgh Penguins traded a first-round pick for.
All right, settle down. I'll listen to Ryan Reeves as a depth guy 5, 6 years ago. But now, we're right there, where he's struggling to skate on the New York Rangers. the guy who the Wild traded for, which to me is still like, okay, you know what? That's Minnesota's need, I guess. But right now, no, he's
Yeah.
not a guy. He's not a guy you want on your roster right now. He doesn't give you much in terms of effectiveness on the third or fourth line. He really doesn't. But you know what? That's the
No, the guy
Wild.
you're
That's
looking
them.
for is Evander Kane, and it's
Mhm.
unfortunate that he had a horrific wrist injury that'll
Yes.
keep him out for at least another month and a half to 2 months, maybe more. Who knows? Um, that's the exact guy you want. Score goals, be tough. Um, you know, maybe cross the line every once in a while to send a message. That's the guy you're looking for, but he has to be able to play 18, 19, 20 minutes a night for that to actually be effective. If you're playing 5 minutes a night, it really doesn't matter how big and tough you are.
No, it really doesn't. And once again, with this win, Mike, Edmonton picks up big points against teams inside the division, inside the conference. Now they have Winnipeg coming up now. And I mentioned this on Game Over last time. For Edmonton to show they won't be a playoff team, they have to find ways to win games against teams in their own division. And they did just now. And that starts. One of the big things we see with Edmonton, their Achilles heel for a long time, Mike, has been the starts have been flat. The starts have been subpar, and to see them come out of the gate firing early was a great sign to see his team with some jump in Seattle.
It's been a weird year for the Oilers,
Yeah.
or at least watching the Oilers, because they haven't seemed to play with the identity that they took forward with them when Jay Woodcock got hired last year into a really good end of the regular season and into a pretty healthy playoff run. You just haven't seen that same team, the same commitment to the systems, and they're inconsistent. You're not getting what you want. Again, as we go back to a lot of players who aren't named McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins, and Hyman. Just if you're not on that list, then a lot of nights people are asking, where is this guy? So you weren't seeing that. And then they took, because for a long time they're running that McDavid, Draisaitl first line, just trying to get as many goals out of that as possible, kind of throwing everyone else to the wolves. Then right before puck drop against Dallas, they go three solid down the middle. They go McDavid with Hyman and Puljujärvi back again, Puljujärvi was playing fourth line minutes, before that. Draisaitl gets Fogle and Yamamoto. Nugent-Hopkins gets Kostin and Janmark. And they had their best game of the season going three deep. Janmark had 2 goals, but that line was really, driving play. Nugent-Hopkins by himself, which again isn't something we've really seen in his career over the past few years. He's really developed more into a left winger for Draisaitl or McDavid than a center. They haven't been able to play him there, but he did really well. And they played their best game of the season against a really good Dallas Stars team who could score. I was really inspired. I'm like, oh, maybe the team has figured it out. They figured out the switch. Very excited for the next game. And they come out against Vancouver in the next game, and they go up 9-0 on the scoreboard. They're speed bagging them, and they go up to a 2-0 lead in the first period. I'm like, wow, the Oilers have found it. Like maybe they figured it out. We can go through the rest of the season, playing like this. It'll be some inspired hockey. I'm excited to watch it. Then they piss away 5 straight goals from the Vancouver Canucks. And it's an embarrassing loss. And that's how you go into the Christmas break. Then you come back, you got a big game against Calgary. And like I said, might have been their worst game of the season that Stuart Skinner stole. Great that they have a goalie who can steal games. You still wish it was the $5 million goaltender, but I will recognize last time I said on the show was not a problem. Since then, it's become a problem. Who knew? But Stuart Skinner has come up as much of a solution. So I really liked seeing the start again tonight because, it reminded you of, the start against Vancouver. That was really good. That game against Dallas, that was really good. So at least you're seeing a bit more of that effort frequently. I'd love to see it every game. Even tonight, I don't know how much, obviously score effects are a part of it, but you saw a lot for that first period when they're scoring goals. They're turning around, taking shots from anywhere and everywhere. They're turning over pucks. They're getting them to the net. And as the game developed, they're going back to overpassing. They're going back to not trying to make plays, but just trying to, kill the game and get it over with, which it's like the prevent defense in football. The only thing prevents is you winning. So I really hate when I see the Oilers like they did against Calgary in the third period when they were just getting absolutely pummeled. You get the puck at a puck battle in your zone and you just flip it out to center ice, try to live another day. until McDavid scored in the third period, like they only had one shot or maybe no shots like up to that point. Like I would really like to see them play for a full 60 minutes, and that's a critique coming off of a 7-2 win. Like I don't care about the goals Seattle scored, obviously the first one. You want to see, better defensive coverage there. From I don't know, James Hamlin was in front of the net and Bouchard was a little outside. I'm not sure what the assignments are, but you want to see a bit more a bit stronger play there. But yeah, so that good start is important, and as you said, they've struggled with that for a lot of the year, and it's been their Achilles heel. So I like the good start, but I also want to see a good finish, a good middle, because at this point, the Oilers are a team that want to fancy themselves as cup contenders, not fight for a playoff spot. So I'm not just looking for them to get a win and keep in the playoff race. I'm looking them to show me they're contenders every game. You don't evaluate on the scoreboard, you evaluate the play. And the play started really well. They got up to a 4-0 lead, and maybe the game tomorrow. You have a game tomorrow night back at home. You're just trying to coast it out. But I would really like to see them, prove me wrong and deliver a nice, strong effort, a complete game against Winnipeg tomorrow. Would go a long way to keeping the optimism up for what this team looks like long term.
Of course, I can agree more. Before you continue, Mike, hold that thought for a second.
Oh, is it ad read time?
You bet it is, Michael. You bet it is. Think you know what way it's going to go? Make your bet with Sports Interaction. Whether it's hockey, football, or basketball, Sports Interaction has you covered. Bet pregame, live in play, or one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see what all sports betting has to offer. Want to bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus, and please play responsibly.
Avry, it's 11 p.m. Mountain Time when we're recording this now. Who knows when you'll get this podcast out for people? Maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday.
We've been that late.
It was that late last time. I'm telling everyone I know, listen to me on this podcast.
No, it did not.
So smart.
Slander upon my name.
And it took so long. But
that is a lie. It went up. It was one episode we had issues with the uploads. Rest of the time, it's been up in a timely manner.
It's just my episodes. But tomorrow, New Year's Eve, we're obviously having our New Year's Eve party. What are the over-under on alcoholic beverages I'm going to consume, Avry? I'll set the line at 8.5. Over-under.
Knowing
8.5.
8.5. That's probably, I don't know. I just a little bit too
I'm
low.
not too irresponsible most of the time.
Well,
you never know.
No, you're not. But knowing you, it's New Year's Eve. I know what you're gonna do on New Year's Eve. I don't know how hard you're gonna go.
He's taking the over, folks.
I might.
Sports Interaction.
Sports Interaction does not endorse Mike poisoning his liver. So I don't know if you're trying. I don't know if you're trying to do here, Mr. Wilson. But
don't tell Sports Interaction what they do and do not endorse.
not your alcohol.
They endorse gambling, and that's what
it. It's not your
gambling on me drinking. Not the drinking. They're just like, well, they're a fan of the action.
I will say this much: having you on filling in for Mr. Mike Fail, I did say that it was probably going to be the roast of Avry over my food takes because Mike wanted to come on here and discuss my food takes, which are beautiful, wonderful, and have not had any.
All right, what's your food take of the night?
Of the night, I've said it before. I'll say it again for those who never heard it before. Poutine is a meat-free dish. That's true. Don't put chicken in that. Don't put beef in that.
I'll go further.
What?
So if you live in Alberta and not Montreal, what you probably eat is poutine. I learned this recently. Not really poutine. It's actually more what I heard referred to as disco fries, which poutine. It's not a gravy. It's like a poutine sauce, and it's cheese curds. Where if you go to whatever Queens Donair here down the street, they're going to give you fries with just gravy on it and shredded cheese, which I like better. And it's called disco fries. You order it as poutine. They call it poutine, but it's not. And that's better. And also, yeah, you're right. I don't want meat on it. I don't even like the donair sauce when they put it on it. I don't want that. I want disco fries.
Oh,
So
interesting. There's a little
there's the
tidbit.
food take.
There's a little tip for disco fries. Didn't even know it was called that. There's
Yeah. I know I'm
interesting.
spitting knowledge on all topics tonight.
Yes, you are. We got some comments here.
Comments, yes.
We got some comments in the chat. Actually, you know what? I'll bring it up here. Pickle asked your takes on Mark Messier. They want your Mark Messier thoughts, Mike.
Just on him as a guy.
As a guy, as a hockey player, just wanted your Mark Messier thoughts.
Good hockey player, greatest Canuck in history.
All right.
Right. Yeah.
Greatest Canuck
A
of
nice
all time.
champion for bald men and laced potato chips. So I'm giving Mark Messier 2 thumbs up.
As you should. And 2 for me as well. So 4 thumbs up for Mark Messier. There you go.
Awesome.
Another question. See what else
Thanks for the question.
What else do we have in the chat room? We got some other questions here. Let's see. I saw a question here. Oh, from MGD 8862. He's always in the chat here, asking about Jack Campbell. Do you think Jack Campbell plays tomorrow night, or will Jack Campbell get a start?
I think Jack Campbell will play tomorrow night. It's a back-to-back.
Fair.
If you can't play Jack Campbell on a back-to-back in the first year of a $25 million contract, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, you know what, though? I would like to see Campbell start as well, but there have been some games where it's like, why isn't Campbell playing against Arizona? Why isn't Campbell playing against, like, that to me is like, that's not a good sign. And
but they haven't played Skinner in a back-to-back yet.
True. You're right, though.
So I think especially because it's in a different city, like they're flying back from Seattle, yes. I imagine right now, they'll let Jack Campbell get the start tomorrow.
That's a smart call.
If they don't, I mean, I don't know what kind of message I know exactly what kind of message it sends, actually. It's a message that sends that say, Jack Campbell is not good and we can't play him.
I mean, you said it right.
It's not the one you want.
And you said it right there, Mike. We're in year 1 of the Jack Campbell
deal. So I think you gotta go out and play him. He's obviously got to play through this. I believe that he can find his way to average. And the only way to do that is to give him a shot. You know, the Winnipeg Jets are having a good season. I don't know if they're going to be without Josh Morrissey, who's been really good for them this year. So if they're missing him, that'll be a big hit for the Jets. But I think the priority for the Oilers was winning the division game, especially with Seattle, a team who was above them in the standings, now below, like bigger game than the Jets, who are in a different division. So I think they'll let Jack Campbell take the New Year's game. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, I know. I think I think we lost your video for a second here, Mike.
Oh, can you still hear me?
We can still hear you loud and clear. Yeah, you are now like the Phantom of the Opera. You are, for some reason, we're almost, you know what? I'll say as much. I'm glad this happened towards the end of the show and not the start. But right now, Mike is the Phantom of the Opera for some reason.
Well, you know, if you listen on the podcast, it doesn't matter.
That is true. If you listen to the audio, which will be up in a timely manner, Mike, that's one thing. Better be. See, that's the one thing, Mike. I could go to outer space. I might still find a way to bash you for going to the moon or going to Mars.
Oh yeah, Elon taking you there.
See, right there. See, I'm not an Elon Musk person.
Man, I did bar trivia last night. And I fancy myself quite the expert on hating Elon Musk, dumbest guy in the world. And they asked a question about the question was like, what did he bring into Twitter on his first day? And I just couldn't remember because it was like all of the dumb stuff he did. And it was like a sink. And I remembered it was like, he was like, let that sink in. I was like, oh my God. So it made me so mad. I already hated the guy before he bought Twitter, and just every new stupid thing he says and does on there, it can't make me any more mad. You know, I already hate him. So, anyways, we still got 6 more minutes to talk about.
Yes, we do. I
could definitely talk about hating Elon for 6 more minutes.
Before the Zoom call beats us out, you know, we're not gonna get into Elon Musk hate for 6 minutes, Mike. We're not gonna do that. But I do want to ask you a brief Oilers aside, Mike. I know it's a topic that I find very dumb. There's anger over. And I know you find this dumb as well. It has been the anger towards Michigan's World Juniors. I just want to get your thoughts on the constant whining over that. To me, it's like, you know what? It's good for the sport. Do Michigan what you want. Stop complaining about that. Stop the whining.
Yeah. No, I mean it's obviously skill plays. It's so dumb when you have even like your players going out there and be like, yeah, we're skilling it up too much. We're not playing the right way. Like, what do you mean the right way? It's like if you have the skill, if you can go out and beat these teams, like Austria and Germany and speed bag them, like you didn't lose to Czechia because of you didn't score on the Michigan twice, and you almost did that time. It's a skilled play that if you think at times, if it's the best way to score a goal, you gotta take it. Like, even I'm frustrated on the other end where they at one time a couple of years ago they asked Leon Draisaitl if he would try, and he was like, no. I'm like, Leon, you're a goal scorer. You get paid millions of dollars to score goals. Why would you take an opportunity to score a goal out of your repertoire? It's like saying, I'm not scoring on one-timers, or I'm just not going to use the backhand. It's disrespectful. It's a skilled play that results in goals. And you see, two Canada players doing it.
Exactly. Oh, that's great. So now Mike's video has dropped out, and Mike's audio has dropped out. And I promise you that's not my doing on Game Over. But I don't know what's going on right now. The internet is not. Hang on. Mike's buffering, for those who are wondering. From what I can see right now on the internal camera, Mike is buffering, and he was mid-thought on the Michigans at the World Juniors, and the idea that you wouldn't want to do more of that, the idea that teams can't win with that, or teams can't win a gold medal with that is ridiculous. And I saw a few arguments to Mike's point. Oh dear. Now I think Mike is back. Hold on.
Are we still good?
Yeah, we can.
I got a comment from my pal Dr. Internet, the bad boy of drive time, asking if we could interact more with the comments. So are we missing his comment? You have the comments.
I do, yes.
Also, so anyway, to summarize, Michigan good.
Yes, Michigan very good. And when people say, I saw people saying, that there should be more plays get the puck towards net. Michigan is a high danger scoring chance. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
No, I'm just trying to go back in the chat here. Hey, following the chat and talking to you, that's work. That is some hard work, Mike.
Yeah. Marissa did post a photo of our chat, and I'm all string beanie. I'm all squished up.
Marissa and Jemmy, friend of Game Over and SDPN. She's a
part of the Edmonton Rush Supporters Club.
Yeah. Yes, I will peel the layers back for a minute. That we do have a very funny group chat that is very lacrosse based in terms of name, and we talk about fun stuff in there. But that is for just Marissa. I see some other comments here. I'm trying to go back and see other comments so we can we can go back through a lot of jokes calling you a voice in the night. A lot of comments on you being the voice in the distance.
Oh, my audio's bad?
No, because the video cut out. Oh. There's a lot of phantom talk right now.
I see.
Yes, there's a lot of phantom talk.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My Wi-Fi is strong.
I see a few comments here talking about Yamamoto again, taking a few big hits and helping out and getting to net again. And Yamamoto, he's someone which Kyler, I like the guy. I like his play, but I would see him do a little bit more time against Seattle. I didn't mind him getting to net a little bit more. He's someone who we all know, 5'6", plays like he's 6'6". But again, I want to see him shoot the puck a little bit more, Mike. I'm sure you feel the same way. He's a guy who was demoted from the first line, was playing more of a depth role again. But I want to see him get to net a little bit more and doing we know he's capable of doing, because he's scored 20 before in this league, Mike. He scored 20 before, and he's got to pull the trigger a little bit more when given the chance.
Absolutely. I think he plays his best when he's playing aggressive. Mm-hmm. And he is an aggressive player. He gets under guys, wins a lot of puck battles, creates turnovers. That's what you're always looking for him. You want to see him, and again, a lot of other players pull the trigger more, get the puck to high danger areas, and see what happens. But when you're on the outside, it's really tough to score goals. So he's a guy that I'd like to see get to the middle of the ice more, just like use his shot. I know it's not that strong, but he can shoot the puck. He can place it. I like to see him use that a lot more.
No, exactly. And you know what? Hey, before the Zoom call ends, we're gonna wrap things up here. Mike, it's been a blast having you on again. Follow Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, follow Mike Kid Atlantis on Twitter. Anyways, for Mike, I'm Avery, and we are gone. We'll talk to you all again in the new year for myself, but the New Year's Eve show, it'll be handled by Zach and Dennis. I will talk to you all again in 2023. Stay safe. Have fun. We're done.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.